Hello everyone, Johnny Miner here, and today we are continuing to learn Japanese with the frog for whom the bell tolls, Kaeru no tame ni kane wa naru. Last time we studied, of course, we started with some kanji, not a lot, and then continued the in-game intro, and we actually got to a point, a notable point where, as they mentioned, the attack of the Geronian army, and also the princess has been mentioned. Also the changing the music going silent and then the start of the new one. But yeah, today first and foremost we have more kanji to study, since at the very last moment we actually found more kanji in game, as mentioned, because of the princess, and also along with that other ones. So we'll start with that, and then we continue that in-game intro. Not sure if we'll finish it today, because of it's practically blind. I know some things about this game, but yeah, I haven't played it myself yet. So yeah. And yeah, without further ado, let's start. Like the previous time, I'll actually open here the screenshot of the part of the game where we have found the new kanji. And yeah, we found them all here. And yeah, as mentioned, first and foremost, we have the one for princess. So yeah, let me open Wiktionary. Well, show you. Yeah, I already had it open. And yeah, so our first kanji is this one. Well, of course, as usual, we'll actually have to go in order. First, its components. The first one is straight up the radical. So yeah, pretty easy. We start and we'll click it here. It should, yeah, it takes some time because it's actually a pretty big kanji, quite fundamental. First and foremost, its shape, its historical forms for the etymology, so that it's actually easier than to remember it. And yeah, it's a pictogram. And yeah, a woman. Here it says with folded arms, kneeling or standing. The kneeling might be because of that part of the legs there at the bottom. Yeah, funny enough, as it mentions there right at the very bottom, it compared with the Egyptian hieroglyph. So, yeah, also funny enough as that. Okay, let me see if I can get rid of it. Perfect. But yeah, I would say maybe actually the breasts, that part mentioned there with the folded arms, I say that considering another kanji actually mentioned there also, but we'll see it better when the time comes for that. Regardless, it's a woman, and yeah, you can see that it's more of a human figure, at the very least a human figure in the older forms, but then it progressively changed with the evolution. And so we get our form here used nowadays. Let's open first and foremost the stroke order with the animation. The usual rules apply, although it's somewhat, top to bottom with this slanted as a single stroke. It's practically like a kind of like a ku in hiragana. Top to we'll wait for the animation. Top to bottom slanted, then goes to the left. But yeah, that's because it's slanted, and we follow top to bottom anyway. Last but not least, simply top left to right here in the middle. So yeah, first and foremost, it goes by height, we could say. So yeah, I actually show it even more. So here we have also the stroke order, just like this. Yeah, all step by step. So yeah, top to bottom, slanted twice, but as a single stroke here. Top to bottom slanted. This is a more typical one, and then left to right. So yeah, even nowadays you could say it's not exactly how it was in the original form, but you could still say you can see kind of like a human figure with the arms of the final left to right stroke, these the legs. So yeah, you can adapt it, and of course the top part, the head, and so on. But yeah, you can remember it also that way. As for its readings, first and foremost, we start actually with the strictly Japanese ones, since we have seen them. Well, we have seen the one, the most used one, which is onna. Yeah, as shown when you also put the plugin here on top of the kanji. Onna is the one that shows as the reading for the kanji on its own. First and foremost, accent on the last mora. And yeah, it's the word, Japanese, strictly Japanese word for woman. And yeah, of course, then also use it in the onnano. We have seen onnanoko, which keeps the accent despite the no, the possessive particle in that case, for girl, literally female child. But there's also the term onna no hito, female person, as in an adult. So yeah, woman. Yeah, the only other strictly Japanese reading mentioned here is me. Me is found usually as a prefix. Yeah, as it mentions here, prefix. Also here technically as a suffix, but honestly I've seen it as a prefix. Immediately comes to mind the term megami, which we have checked out. I've don't remember if I've straight up seen it in a previous Let's Learn Japanese with series, or at the very least I've mentioned. No, I think we might have seen it actually in Link's Zelda 2, Link's Adventure, The Adventure of Link, Link no Boken. But yeah, it's. I want to show it if we can find it straight up from here. Yeah, Megami. The accent is on the me itself for that. Yeah, I wanted to mention that to confirm it. Here we technically have all the evolution of the word, but yeah, we ignore it. Also of these strictly Japanese terms. As for the Chinese readings, the ones used are first and foremost Jo. Jo is the most common one, and unsurprising is the one mentioned immediately by the dictionary. If we go then down even more before me, accented Jo on its own technically. As a suffix, for example, yeah, for woman, girl again, daughter technically. We have seen the term oji. We have also ojo. We have seen the term oji for prince in this very game. For princess, technically, there's also the term ojo. And yeah, literally same origin as oji, but we replace the general character for a child with the one for woman, for princess. The other way around, we get female king in that case, literally. So yeah, Jo O, yeah, queen. Although, as we have seen, we have already mentioned, we are studying this for to get to that kanji. For princess, there's another term of strictly Japanese origin, and honestly, even more used, but it is important to keep in mind also that Ojo. But yeah. Another Chinese reading is Nyo, and can be found sometimes. Technically, there's also Kanyon, so the Chinese readings that aren't strictly from Chinese, but actually are based on Chinese readings, but then adapted by Japanese into Japanese by Japanese. So yeah, they are technically made in Japan. Nyo only with the longer vowel, but honestly, I think it can be found as well, and is mentioned, by the way, technically in the list here shown. But yeah, honestly, the fundamental ones are Jo and Nyo. You can then remember Nyo as simply a variant of Nyo, which it is anyway, so yeah. Okay, with all that, I don't need to go back like that. We can go back to the kanji we're studying. Actually, first, before getting to the form we have here, we have to check out its original form, because yeah, it isn't the one we can see today nowadays. It's slightly different because it actually used a different part as the phonetic one. And yeah, here not even mentioned its reading as a kanji of its own. It's like it's mentioned to be a pictogram, possibly a chin, and that's because of the related, the derived potentially kanji here. I wanted to only show here the form of the left element. We aren't checking this kanji today, simply to show that, yeah, with that form, you can see how it could be a chin as a pictogram. What's also worth mentioning that, yeah, the reading of this one is I. So yeah, with all those elements, while we actually are missing now, we can then go back. We technically have the phonosemantic compound. Yeah, the semantic part is woman, even in the new, in the contemporary form. And then we have this part that, yeah, the chin, that is most certainly phonetic. And that's because, yeah, from I, as we mentioned, of the Chinese reading of the kanji for chin, we get this one, which is ki. Yeah, only we have simply the additional consonant at the start, but yeah, same. But we'll check that better when we get here to the contemporary form, although before checking it out, we need one more part. Which is what that chin has become today, which is this kanji. Yeah, takes some time because it's actually there's a good amount of things to it. And yeah, it's actually another pictogram of an eye. Yeah, one more of those, which I don't think we have exhausted them yet. Yeah, pretty sure we haven't. We have seen the one for eye, now still used for eye. This one is a technically a vertical eye, in particular one looking downwards. That's worth mentioning because of the meanings. Because when used as a radical, says there, we have then used in kanji with ones with the meaning to look down at or to inspect. You can see why then. Now, as an individual character, got the extended meaning, we could still say, from the looking downwards, as in for surveillance or something along those lines. It now has the meanings of technically, originally, say servant, and then could be for slave, but then later minister. This is the one more used nowadays. We can check its stroke order, which is actually different between Japanese and Chinese. In Japanese, it's actually easier. We'll wait one cycle, but we start here as an individual stroke top to bottom, and then left to right, top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom as a single stroke as usual, left to right, top to bottom, left to right. Top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom as a single, left to right, top to bottom, left to right. The difference is that in Chinese it's actually the first stroke is actually used as a single stroke with the bottom one as an enclosure. We have seen other enclosure, but in Japanese it's easier, luckily for us. So we can check its readings. Honestly, the ones, there is technically this strictly Japanese reading Omi, but honestly not used usually nowadays. We can keep it in mind just to have a strictly Japanese reading. Archaic, it's considered archaic. Retainer, attendant, you can see then why from that servant in general, even more so than minister. It's then there's straight up Omi as an hereditary title, says that, but we'll ignore it. As the strictly the Chinese reading is Shin. That's the one used, accented. Technically, there's also Jin, but I'm not as sure it's used as much. And regardless, it's voiced, so it's easy to remember if we eventually somehow find it. Shin. With this, now we have the element for the kanji we wanted to study, which combines, it was actually originally a kanji of its own in Chinese there, with its own meaning, combining so the semantic woman and the phonetic I have seen, so with the reading Shin, in Japanese Chun, or relatedly Jun in Chinese. And technically it still has that reading in Shin in Japanese, but I can tell you that usually it's simply used as a simplified form for that other kanji we have seen for combining the semantic woman and phonetic kanji for Shin. Now we have seen why, because we replace that with this one for the I that becomes a servant, because they're almost identical. And this one is actually used way more. As we have seen, it's used also as a kanji of its own in Japanese. So that's why. So actually, its readings are Ki as mentioned, from that E. And then the one we have actually seen more in games, hime. Hime accent on the first mora. Technically, young lady of noble birth, and yeah, then by extension, princess, yeah, especially in Western contexts, tales, and so on. Other extended meanings, but yeah, no. These are the ones that interest us. Okay, with that, we have checked out the first of these kanji we want to study. I'll actually show it. And yeah, we can see it there. Hime has a suffix. We have seen that there was some variance, but my guess would be accented when added as a suffix after a name of a princess, accented before hime itself. But yeah, we can confirm it, of course, unfortunately. Oh yeah, we'll then move to the other kanji seen there. We have two more. The next one is this one. Yeah, let me copy it. I have it already ready here in my list. And yeah, it's this one. As soon as it loads, because yeah, it actually takes some time here. Okay. To check it out, we need some components. Yeah, because actually it's uncertain its origin. There are various explanations. We'll ignore the original one, the first one of these, because it's the most useless one, I'd say, to remember it. And also it's questionable, since it's actually an old explanation in Chinese, based though on the on the form of the kanji at the time, so not including the previous ones. So yeah, we'll actually start with the first one, which with the second one here in this list of 4, where it is a phonosemantic compound. So yeah, actually that's quite convenient. We'll start with the phonetic part in this case. Yeah, here we have a pictogram. One here, yeah, mentions it being an animal paw, but honestly, I think it's the second explanation is more convincing, or at the very least more useful. Although, to check that out, we need another kanji, and yeah, that's a good occasion to finally study this kanji, as we have actually found this a lot, unsurprisingly, considering its meaning. Yeah, another pictogram. There are two interpretations, one being an arm bending out from the side of the body, which could make sense, or a wooden plow, which also could be maybe related to the later forms that are shown with the field, that one, although it's the one we'll keep in mind here. Regardless, from arm or also the wooden plow, we get the meaning strength. Yeah, it's that it's that kanji. We have mentioned it before. Let's check its stroke order. Yeah, we start here first with the left to right, top to bottom, with this hook at the end, and then top to bottom here slanted. So yeah, here we go with the left to right, but we have seen, yeah, this is like we have seen in Kana for, yeah, and also because, yeah, it is related, not exactly from this kanji as we'll eventually see, but yeah, no, it's related to that. So yeah, left to right, top to bottom slanted as with the hook as a single stroke, and then top to bottom slanted. Here we can see it also here, the stroke order. Pretty easy. And yeah, with that, we get the meaning, as already mentioned, strength, power, force. Yeah, it's a kanji for chikara. We've already found that word a lot in our Let's Learn Japanese with series, previous ones. Unsurprisingly, considering the meaning of the word, chikara accent on the last mora. As we've seen by extension, force, strength, and so on. By extension, also capability, ability. We've seen it also related for Kirby's copy abilities because of that. We've actually seen also one of its Chinese readings, the most common one, Ryoku, as a suffix, and strength, power, and so on. That we have seen also in Pokemon Fire Red, which we are currently playing along with this one. So yeah, Ryoku. There's also another Chinese reading, Riki, which is used sometimes. So yeah, be careful. We'll see it better, when we find words with that. But and yeah, keep in mind that these additional U and E at the end have been added by Japanese. So yes. Usually there's this variation that the words in Gon tend to have the E at the end here as the additional vowel. Canon, which the more recent one and more common one, add U. But yeah. It's worth mentioning that there's technically also a strictly Japanese reading, rikimu, accented. It's a verb with the meaning to strain oneself, to bear down, and to exert oneself, and so on. Suspiciously similar to the Chinese reading Riki. So yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it were derived from that, and then they simply added mu as a suffix to make it a verb in Japanese. Tsutomeru will ignore because honestly, it's usually not written with this kanji anyway. By the way, the chikara, the origin seems to be from chi, power, life force, essence, with this kanji. Usually not written like that, but yeah. Kara, on the other hand, it's a source origin. Yeah, this is the kara we have actually mentioned maybe last time in Pokemon Fire Red, from which actually the kara is the particle and also is the conjunction, because particle from conjunction because come from, it means source origin. So yeah. Okay, we can proceed from here. We can, by actually going back. And we mentioned that because this is another interpretation of this the kanji we want to study here as one of the components of our the one we want to check out. Because it would be it's another interpretation is that it's a representation of a wooden plow and some seeds to convey the concept of disseminate, spread, and so related actually to other kanji with derived from it with that meaning. And yeah, honestly, I'd say that makes the most sense to me. Also considering that, the other kanji had, the meaning animal paw. There's a derived kanji with containing this with animal paw. But also there they mentioned the spread anyway. So, yeah. we don't need to check it out for it's not used in Japanese. It's worth mentioning that it's Chinese reading, the one actually we would technically, well, there are two, Ben and Han. The Han in particular, let's say, is quite important for the future, but we'll see it when it shows up. Okay. Now we need, technically, for this interpretation, we have that, which is actually the phonetic part, and we'll see, that makes sense. Plus the semantic, this one. This kanji, which it's we'll have to wait here for that cat come. Straight up simply two parallel strokes. And you might have guessed based on the kanji I think we studied last time. One stroke left to right, the number 1, 2, the number 2. So it's the kanji for 2. We are studying it also for this reason. You might have guessed that then they also had a kanji with 3 strokes, then for number 3, and this is actually still used. Technically 1 for 4, but that one is not more used anymore. But we'll see the 1 for 3 when the time comes for it. And straight up the stroke order. It's really easy, left to right and left to right, globally top to bottom. We can see it also here, even though, it's really, really easy. It's not surprising that, the first kanji learned at school in Japan, it's these numbers. The numbers in general, but starting with the number 1 and 2 also because they're the easiest. As for its readings, technically, the Chinese reading is the one we have seen, the fundamental one, I'd say nowadays. Ni is the one usually used. There's technically another one, Ji, but way less used. And then we have the strictly Japanese reading Futa. We're seen in Futatsu, shown also here. That simply adds, technically considered here as a reading, but no, it actually adds the general purpose counter Tsu. Tsu of the general purpose counter. Tsu is of strictly Japanese origin, and that's why it uses the strictly Japanese numeral, but we have seen it before. Futa found also in Futari, as we have seen. Futsu is important to keep in mind because it's actually found, if I can find it here, let me look at it. Futsu. Here it is, Futsuka, an accent, it's by adding the kanji for day, there's the reading ka for that as a counter for days, days both in the sense of a specific day of the month, so in this case the second day of the month, but also 2 days. So Futsuka, both. Ka is of strictly Japanese origin, uses strictly Japanese readings again. So the readings here, the ones to really keep in mind are Ni, and then Futa and Futsu. Ni, the Chinese one, the one usually used. There it mentions, for example, an example of a word, Chinese compound that does use the other reading Ji. Although as a variant anyway here, so honestly, from experience, Ni is the one usually used anyway. Barely if at all I've seen Ji. But yeah, the strictly Japanese ones, futa and futsu, clearly related. They're all identical except for the vowel. So yeah. Yeah, with those, we can have the elements for this kanji. So in this interpretation, we have the phonetic han, we have seen as, well, actually ben in this case better, plus the semantic chu as two equal lines. Other interpretations see it as a pictogram, simply of a water weed spread flat on the surface of water. That's because of then of its one of its meanings, and also the pictogram of a balance scale. We can check its stroke order. Pretty easy, left to right. These two commas, the one on the left and the one on the right. And then we practically write the kanji for 10, left to right, top to bottom. Left to right, comma, comma, left to right, top to bottom. You could also see these the two there for what we have seen of that origin, that explanation, the one with the phonetic component, and the semantic one, which was the two. But yeah, regardless, its meanings nowadays are flat, as we have seen mentioned in several spread, also technically, but yeah, no, better flat, flat, and then so also even. As we see, also equal is important for this kanji technique in some compounds, but yeah. Its readings, the ones used usually are the strictly Japanese, the Chinese ones, sorry, want to start there. We have he, which is the most common one, and notice there the similarity with that pen we mentioned before. And then we also have this biao, well, bio from biao. These ones are actually both used, so worth keeping in mind, even though he is the most common one. Other Chinese readings, but honestly, we can ignore them. Not sure if they're even mentioned here. Technically, hyo, a variant without the voicing, but yeah. And then after that, we have the strictly Japanese readings. First and foremost, taira, written when we have the ra outside of the kanji. Unaccented, it's an adjective. The one with means flat, level, even, and other then extended meanings. We have a related reading, tairaka, becomes accented because of that ka at the end. We'll see again that there are some na adjectives with a ka at the end. Those are always accent on the third to last mora. Again, this is no exception, so yeah, tairaka, still again, level. Then also just peaceful. A verb tairagu, where the gu accented, which means to be suppressed. We have also the this is the intransitive. We have the transitive in eru as usual. Typical couple of verbs. Yeah, this one. The related meaning with the tairagu is to put down a rebellion. So yeah, to make peace, unfortunately, in that sense. Last but not least, but it's actually quite important, yeah, is the strictly Japanese reading, hira. Hira accented on the first mora on its own. Something broad and flat. Common, or even more so, yes, an adjective, common, ordinary, plain. yeah, it's actually the hira found in hiragana. Common kana. But yeah. Then we technically have a hira ni, but yeah, that's simply adds ni to make the adverb. Honestly, not particularly used, but yeah, so. The ones that to keep in mind are Chinese readings he, first and foremost, and then also bio. Technically, the modified version also hyo, but less so. So yeah, he and bio. Taira, and then we have all those derived ones, tairaka, tairagu, tairageru. But yeah, taira is the fundamental one, and hira. And yeah, with that, we have checked out also our second kanji. We have found here, as you can see here. And yeah, here we have the reading. It's in a Chinese compound. We have already mentioned its reading. He. And yeah, so we can see in practice that, yeah, that's the most common one. So now we have our final kanji here. So we studied it. Let me copy it from my list. Okay. Yeah, now I have to go back up a lot. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, here we have it. Unfortunately, this is technically, while it's not considered, strictly speaking, a simplified form, there was a variant, an older variant, which makes more sense for the etymology, so we'll actually check it out. Funny enough, the phonetic we already have it is the kanji for stalk we have already studied. But yeah, as the phonetic here, we have seen that it was ka from kua. I didn't focus on the other Chinese reading wa, but it's actually important here. But yeah, even from kwa, then you can see it regardless. But yeah, that's the phonetic. The semantic part nowadays is simply mouth, but originally it was this one. Yeah, this is the originally the older variant form has this as the semantic part. Although to check it out, we need first an element unrelated in practice, but now found in unrelated in origin, but now found because of the simplification. So we'll take it as a chance to study it. It's actually pretty useful anyway. This one. And yeah, originally a pictogram. And yeah, it's actually a pictogram of bamboo slips. Bamboo slips, which were also used for writing, strung together. And yeah, there's also a variant form, but honestly, it doesn't matter for us in Japanese. And so we can focus on this form, which is actually closer, as you can see here, to the historical form anyway. And yeah, this is the one. This is it. And we can find its stroke order, but yeah, honestly, you practically keep the middle stroke that goes through at the end, and yeah, then you follow the usual rules. So yeah, top to bottom. On the left to right, top to bottom, top to bottom, the one on the left, the one on the right, and then the final one through. I can still look for it technically. Let's see if I can find it. But yeah, it should be like that. Stroke order. Sorry if we are getting some issues. And yes, it mentions there can already see it here with that. You might not be able to see properly the numbers, but yeah, there is mentions there's 5 at the there on the bottom. So yeah, top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom as a single stroke with the hook, top to bottom, left to right, just to quickly show it. But yeah, these from those bamboo slips strung together, as mentioned, related also to writing. So actually, its meaning is a book. But in Japanese, technically tome, so volume also. In Japanese, it's strictly used as the counter for books. Not this is actually the word used for book straight up in Korean. Check there. Related to the Chinese reading, saku, which is technically kept in mind, is the one still used in Japanese, but more often than not, Japanese uses an adapted reading, kanyon once more, satsu. And yes, satsu is a counter for books. Let me see if I can see it here. Yeah, no, not like that. Okay, I'll get the physical dictionary. Got the physical dictionary to check the accent when used as a counter. So yeah, let me quickly see it. Let me find it. Satsu. Yeah, here it is. Okay, it's once more one that has variants similar to hiki. Actually, might be straight up the same rule here. There's an exception technically. Okay, the rule in general is more or less the same. So the ones with the accent on the final mora on the tsu, so when it's contracted, there's an exception, but it's still related. We've seen that could be contracted in the case of hiki. So yeah, keep that in mind. In the other ones, when it's not contracted before satsu itself. So yeah, we have isatsu, nisatsu, sansatsu, yonsatsu, gosatsu, rokusatsu. Yeah, not contracted in this case, but still, again, roku is one of the numbers that can be contracted, so you could keep it in mind considering that. Nanasatsu, hasatsu, kyusatsu, jusatsu, or jisatsu. And yeah, so actually same as hiki technically. But yeah, regardless. Then technically we have a kunyomi, but yeah, no, honestly, this one usually does not apply to these. Fumi usually uses different kanji. It's worth mentioning that fumi is a word, a formal word for letter, book, or literary arts. So everything, all that has to do with writing, but yeah, usually we use a different kanji. It's not even shown when I in the plugin, so yeah. The saku, actually used for the an imperial edict to confer nobility as their nobility titles in ancient China. So it's still present even just for that reason, saku. The original actual Chinese reading. But yeah, nowadays satsu is the one, the more important one in Japanese. But yeah, we needed that because the kanji found the semantic part found in the kanji that we want to study ended up having it in its evolved form. Originally, it was straight up simply a bamboo pan flute with two mouths on the top. Yeah, as it mentions there, actually, potentially straight up simply more than mouths, the openings of the flute, the pipes. Then in the bronze inscription, there's that top element we have already seen. Yeah, it's a flipped mouth simply, but yeah, we've seen it. We've just already checked it out in other kanji. Was added, but the part of the flute itself became the kanji of satsu we have seen already there. Then, in the last but not least, there was the addition of a third mouth, third opening. So yeah, the contemporary form is this one. Top to bottom, top to bottom slanted, left to right. So yeah, we write that inverted mouth on top, then straight up the three mouths from left to right. So I want to mention all those, the stroke order of all those, simply those. Last but not least, we have this part. Notice though, yeah, we start top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom with the hook. We'll wait for the animation here. Takes a lot of time because of the mouths and so on. But yeah, we practically here, as we have seen, then write the kanji for satsu. Yeah, notice here though the left to right in the middle at the start and then top to bottom, top to bottom, because it doesn't go through in this case. But yeah, as we have seen, anyway, it wasn't that originally, but yeah. So be careful about that. Although, honestly, yeah, it was technically a flute. But yeah, nowadays actually not used in on its own in Japanese because the word for fue, the Japanese reading for, strictly Japanese reading for flute, uses a way easier kanji, actually. We can see it there for a second. The Chinese reading is yaku of this one. But yeah, it doesn't interest us. So yeah, flute. It interests us for the meaning because yeah, by combining that with then that is the semantic part as mentioned. The phonetic one is the one for the stalk with the reading wa in this case. The flute could be the semantic part because from musical harmony, we get harmony as the the abstract concept, and then yeah, we have this alternative form. But yeah, then later it got replaced. First, we actually had, as we have seen, the flute on the left. So yeah, semantic and phonetic part. So the mouth then was put on the left, but then they switched places. And yeah, nowadays it's written like this. So we literally write the kanji for stalk. We have already studied, so yeah, pretty easy. Slanted, top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom, slanted. And then the mouth, so top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom, as second stroke, left to right. But yeah, as already mentioned, yeah, it means harmony, peace, peaceful, harmonious, as said also there. Like we have can see here. Yeah, it has straight up the Chinese readings we mentioned for the kanji for stalk, wa and ka from kwa. The one used is in Japanese nowadays is wa, usually. There's also a related reading even more recent one, O from Wo. But honestly, yeah. First and foremost, keep in mind Wa. Then we have several strictly Japanese readings. Aeru, accented, which means to dress a salad, to toss in a sauce or dressing. So technically to make, we could see it as making a dish harmonious by adding those in a way. Nagomu, which we have actually seen, we've mentioned it with Konbanwa Guillaume. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I haven't played this one myself, but yeah, we are playing it first and foremost to have then to then know what the cameo then found in Zelda will be. So yeah, we are playing them in order for this, but yeah, as we have seen, quite useful here also for the Japanese. I didn't expect so many kanji, but yeah, it's a good chance to study them. So many, relatively few, but yeah, we haven't studied several of them. We have to check them out. But yeah, as I was saying, Nagomu, we've already found it. We've already mentioned it to be softened, to calm down. From that Nago at the start, and we also get Nagoyaka. Actually, even more used, let's say. Notice again another adjective in ka at the end, so the accent is then on the go. The third to last more, again, as already mentioned. Yeah, this one means mild, calm, gentle, and so on. This one... Okay, yeah, see, technically used. Yarawara Geru. To soften, to moderate, to relieve. The other one actually not used for the kanji on its own. It's mentioned for a certain reason, but honestly we can ignore. Okay, yeah. I thought it was present. Yeah, we have also the intransitive Yawaragu, to soften, to cool down, and then the transitive in Eru once more. So yeah, the readings we want to keep in mind for this one are the Chinese one, Wa, fundamentally. Technically, we also have a Ka and O, but way less so. So yeah, Wa. Aeru, as a verb. Nagomu, and so also Nagoyaka. And then Yawaragu, but we also then have the transitive in Eru. So yeah, these ones, yeah, there are a lot, but yeah, it's quite important. It's even more important because nowadays, it originally wasn't that wasn't the case. But because of its reading Wa, the Chinese reading, it ended up replacing a different kanji in usage. As a prefix, Wa is used with the meaning Japan or Japanese style, so actually quite important. And of course, they replaced it. Also, was quite convenient because of the old meaning, peaceful and so on. But yeah, with this, we have checked out all the kanji we wanted to study. Yeah, because we have found them here. Yeah, we have Hewa as the Chinese compound. Yeah, we can see in practice once more that Wa is the Chinese reading used usually. But yeah, with this, I'd say we can take our usual break right now. Around 3 minutes, might take me slightly more. But yeah, when we'll be back, we'll actually start playing the game. So yeah, see you in around 5 minutes at most, maybe slightly less. And we are back. And yeah, so we can now actually start playing the game. Okay. We load our save state. And yeah, it was straight up the last sentence we had checked last time. As mentioned. And yeah, it was the peaceful island country. I don't remember the exact translation we have seen last time for Shimaguni. No, straight up simply island country, literally. That Princess Tiramisu, yeah, again, all the food related names, rules, and yeah, after saying that, it starts here actually with the exclamation mark. So yeah, funny enough, it reminds me of the exclamation marks seen in the balloons in Pokemon games in a way. And yeah, then it says, Sore de hime wa. And yeah, so first and foremost, we have Sore, part of the Kosodo series, as usual, Ko close to both the speaker and the listener, So close to the far from the speaker, close to the listener, far from both, dot interrogative. Also, I usually an accented do, accent on do itself. It's worth mentioning that yeah, so and are also used when referring to something not there, cioè as in that in general. There is a distinction between the two, but yeah, no, not. We'll see it if it shows up actually. It's worth mentioning. When it's worth mentioning. Yeah, here, not particularly. Sore de, yeah, then we have de. De could be a particle, I'd say here could be straight up the te form of the copula. Da, here, the te form, de. So yeah, being that literally, and so yeah, the meaning is so. Hime, we have just studied its kanji, the princess. Topic particle where it has ha. So yeah, as for the princess, and then it stops there technically with the question mark. So, as for the princess, and then actually we have the actual sentence after tiramisu hime wa do nasareta no da. Yeah, first and foremost we have tiramisu hime again. Yeah, we have tiramisu as mentioned. Yeah. We should have checked its accent last time, which wasn't the same as in Italian. Yeah, no, in Japanese it's on the first mora, so on the T. Tiramisu. Here actually might be pronounced like in Italian for what we mentioned as a hime as a suffix, so tiramisu hime. Topic particle wa once more. Then we have do, still part of the Kosodo series. With do we have the interrogative. When we had u, so actually it becomes the long o for the long vowel for the preceding O means way, cioè in which way, how, in what way, how, then we could simply say after it we have Nasareta. Nasareta is from is Nasareru. Nasareru is honorific, respectful language. From Nasaru. Nasaru is technically the base verb. We've actually, we should have mentioned it, even though nowadays it's written with, usually with kana. When we studied its kanji. Nasaru means to do. Honorific, again, respectful language. Technically, also this Nasaru from Nasu. Nasu, which on its own means already means to do. But yeah, with we change the U into A to make Nasaru or Nasareru. If there it's even clearer. We change the U into A and then add Re-Ru. Technically, to make the passive form of the verb, yeah, it's actually a passive that is used to as one of the ways to make an honorific and even more specifically respectful form of the verb. So we have this Nasai, Nasaru. We have seen it actually in its continuative form, Nasai. An exception compared to usual, because we U verb go and verb, we would change usually the U into E, and that's it, Nasari. But then the R fell, and only the E remained. This happens to other honorific verbs. But yeah, we've found Nasai. Here we have Nasareru, but yeah, still, again, the honorific respectful form. So we actually would have, without the honorific, do, sta. Yeah, what I haven't mentioned here in Nasareru, ru verb is some verb, we can simply then drop the ru to make the conjunctive form, and then to attach the ta. Ta to make the past form of the verb in plain speech technically. Even though, as we have seen the verb itself is in the honorific, because notice why it's honorific, because yeah, it's referred to the princess Tiramisu. Speaking in plain speech, because yeah, we are speaking here with this attendant or whoever this old man is. But yeah, as I was saying, so dosta literally means how one did. But yeah, in the sense, so yeah, how, in what way, somehow. Well, actually, here, that when used on its own. Here we also have after it no. No, technically, we have seen it as the nominalizer for verbs and adjectives, thing as in fact. Here I do suspect, though, considering that it's used in interactive it's used in interrogative sentences as an interrogative expression. It could simply be then considered no used as an interrogative particle. But yeah, regardless, the expression dosta no, literally we've seen how, in what way it was done. So from that actually the meaning is what's the matter, what's wrong, or what happened to, this is our case here. We then simply replace, we mentioned sta with its honorific respectful form nasareta here. Last but not least, after this expression, we have the copula da. Here Wes is asking, I think it was our protagonist speaking, might be Richard at worst, but it's one of our two characters on top. So as for the Princess Tiramisu, what happened here? It's in the meaning. What happened to her? We can continue. Now our attendant here says, Sate, soko made wa. Sate, first and foremost, is technically considered a conjunction there, with the meaning well, now, then. In this case, I'd say well, simply. The accent is on the first mora. Then we have the comma. Soko. Another Kosodo series word. With the ko we get place. That place, so actually then simply there. Here actually, not in the physical sense of a place, as we'll see in a second. After it we have made, the particle which means up to, as far as. Here technically with the place, so as far as there, can also be used made for a temporal meaning, so up to, until a time. But here up to there, but not in the actual physical sense, but figuratively. So as far as that, last but not least, we have the topic particle y again. So as up the as that, where the well at the start, well, as far as that, and then suspension dots. But with this, by saying this, we can already tell that what's implied here is that he doesn't know. He doesn't know that far. Then here we have unu. It should be a nu there. It's not as clear because of it does look like a nu with the small circle at the end. Sore wa tenka no ichidaiji. But first and foremost we have that unu. Kind of weird, but because immediately you would think actually more umu. No, this seems like uno. I guess anyway that it's some kind of interjection, cioè, like similar to umu, in the sense here as oh yeah, then we have for sure sore wa tenka no ichidaiji. Sore again, that, the topic particle wa. Tenka, which I don't think we have seen it yet. Okay. This one should be, because, yeah, we can't... we can't immediately tell because there are technically more than one tank. The easiest, the safest guess would be the easiest one, tank. Accent on the first more, Chinese compound, but yeah, one with the second most common accent. Which has these various meanings. The whole world, or the whole country, society, the public. Supremacy or government of a country, and so on. But yeah, we'll see in a second. Then we have the possessive particle no. And then we have this ichidaiji. Ichidaiji, yeah, literally the ichi at the start, it's a Chinese compound of 3 kanji, this one. We have ichi at the start, yeah, the usual number 1. Then we have daiji. Daiji on its own is a Chinese compound. Accent on the first mora when used on its own. The dai is the kanji for big, we have already studied as well. Important, serious, critical. We might have seen it before in this very series, actually. The accent of the bigger compound ichidaiji luckily keeps the accent of daiji. But yeah, from those meanings, we get important matter, say one, serious, and then we had matter, one then implied in the English translation. Important is the meaning of daiji, from serious usually would say, but yeah, important. Implied then matter. Matter of great importance, serious affair, major incident, emergency. But yeah, so here it's saying, as for that, it's an important matter of... yeah, we can confirm exactly what the meaning of tenka here is. I might say actually the whole country. In this case, consider that we are talking about... we switched technically to the princes, I think, here. Yeah, so I think it's saying that, yeah, it's an important matter for, we would say actually in English better, the whole country. And yeah, by the way, here we're back to definitely Richard. Who then says G. Funeda. Minato ni fune o yo ise. But yeah, first and foremost G, which yeah, we've already seen before in this very silly. Yeah, we've seen it the last time. A contraction from Oji-san for grandfather, but yeah, no, here as in simply old man. Could technically be straight up be the grandfather, but yeah, no, I think it's simply an old servant here. Then we have Fune. Fune means boat. The accent, I think it was accented on the last mora. Ah no, okay, sorry, my bad. On the first mora, Fune. Ship, boat, and so on. There's a difference, by the way, based on the kanji which you use, but yeah, no, here it's not shown. Most likely a relatively bigger one, I'd say here, based on the context. Then, so now we have the copula da. So yeah. It's a boat, as in, we would say simply in English, a boat, and then we see that at the end here we have the full explanation of Minato ni fune o yoi se, as mentioned. So yeah, first and foremost we have Minato. Strictly Japanese word for harbor. Unaccented. Actually, we've checked out, we've seen it before, again in Zelda 2, I'm pretty sure, thanks to one of the cities. And I think we checked its etymology there, because I actually remember that the mi should technically be from mizu, water, na, a variant of no, so the possessive particle. To, I think it was straight up door, entrance, so you could say. So yeah, the entrance of water. Or better, water entrance to a country, a city, or whatever. You can see then from that how it would make sense as the word for harbor, port. Then we have the particle ni. To, I'd say, but we'll see the better translation based on what comes after. Fune again, the boat, the ship. Written as one, pronounced as such in careful speech and also singing, so the object particle. And then we have this yo, I, se. Which actually comes from yoi, first and foremost. Yoi, yeah, in this case there are technically more than one, but yeah, this is clearly the one which means preparation. Chinese compound accent on the first mora. The yo, by the way, is the kanji for utilize that we have studied before. They, no, I haven't checked it out. Yeah, preparation, arrangements, and so on. A noun, as usual, for these Chinese compounds, so we can then make the verb by adding suru, to do, as already mentioned, so literally to do preparation, to prepare, to do arrangements, to arrange. And then we get this se, sei. And yeah, this is not typical, but I wonder if I find it set up. In the dictionary as well. Yeah, no, there it finds other ones. Let me see if I can find it by straight up looking up in Suru. It's it should be. It's not a typical form. based on the context, you can immediately tell anyway that it's supposed to be an imperative of some kind. Not a typical one, as I mentioned, because we have actually seen... okay, we got a slight... okay, we should be fine. We have mentioned before the imperative forms of suru. Usually, shiro, the one in spoken Japanese. There's also the seiyo one. Notice the se, which is the written one. We've seen, actually, we've seen so far, I think, more seiyo than shiro in these games, but due to the context. Let me see if I can find that one, though, the other one we want to... this one that we want to check out. I straight up can find it here, in which there is a... because I want to give the proper explanation, but based on the context, still in that sense. Yeah, it's straight up a contraction of seiyo that we mentioned. But yeah, it's not typical. It's not typical at all. And yeah, actually mentions here that it's technically from classical Japanese. Notice that it's a contraction of seiyo, which even in contemporary Japanese is the written form of imperative form of suru. Suru completely irregular, so anyway, we seem to have to remember this. Archaic, or mentions also kansai. So, found in Kansai Ben. I think here most likely more tendential to the archaic or classical Japanese. Doesn't make sense the kansai here. Also consider the particle there that is da, not ya. But worth keeping in mind. Actually, I might have heard it more as for Kansai Ben than anything else so far myself. But yeah. So yeah, we checked it out. Yeah, it's confirmed that it's an imperative form, not a typical one. And yeah, most likely, yeah, a contraction of seiyo. And I noticed the e at the end. Like in koi, the imperative of kuru, the other completely irregular verb. But yeah, in that case, koi, yeah, it's straight up the imperative used, and that's it. But yeah. So yeah, here it's saying, yeah. As we said, yeah, prepare a boat. Technically, at then we would say in English at the port. Not the typical. I'd say in this case, technically, is in the sense that you put the boat into technically that place. So yeah, that the usage of ni in that sense, because yeah, it doesn't make sense ni as the locative particle in at. It's not a verb of staying that one technically. But yeah. And yeah, as expected, actually, we see more kanji, so we'll have more to study. Have we seen actually all these? I don't think we... actually, I might have forgotten. Let me quickly check one thing. I think we had found the one for wa last time, but yeah, I actually forgot it. But yeah, anyway, we'll find it once more, so we'll study it next time. there's no way I'll forget this since we have it in this single screen. So yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. Konnichiwa, Kinorashi. Nice to see you here. But yeah. So we have these 3 kanji to study next time. One because I forgot, the other 2 because are completely new. Actually, I think we might have already studied the one for she. If that's the case, then we have only 2 left. But yeah. Regardless, here it's saying, it says, Soshite, waga heishi domo ni tatakai no shitaku wo saseru no da. And yeah, first and foremost, we have Soshite. We should have found in previous series. Is a conjunction with the meaning and. Notice that at the end, so yeah, it's related to the te form. Should be an accented, can see it there. Look, should be present also in this physical dictionary. I usually use the other one, but this one should be present, so we'll check it here. We should have looked it up before. But yeah, just to confirm it. So, si, te. By the way, of course, the she barely, the e barely heard it at all because it's written in a voice consonant. So, yeah, so ste. And yeah, unaccented. But yeah, so and then. So, and now. But yeah. Then we have waga once more. Yeah, the one we didn't study this kanji, we have already found it. The wa, a contraction of ware. Ware, first person singular pronoun, I. I don't remember if we should have said that, yeah, this. We haven't actually said specifically. Yeah, this ware is not your typical first-person singular pronoun, but it comes up from time to time. We'll see it more properly in the future. Anyway, here we have actually the contraction wa. With then, guys, the particle, which we have seen is actually an older, in classical Japanese ga, also was used as the possessive particle, like no. And yeah, it's used still nowadays in this expression, like waga, so yeah, my, our. And yes, this one is straight up like this, so yeah, honestly, it doesn't matter for now, ware on its own. After it, we have this Chinese compound, heishi, which means a soldier. The accent, I think, okay, accent on the first more, so I was correct, heishi. Soldier. Here, after it, we have domo. Domo is technically a suffix. First person plural. Says the dictionary, technically also singular, but usually as it's not a coincidence that they put a first plural and all in between brackets or singular, because yeah, more typically plural. Humble language. Yeah, still considered technically then here as also for the plural, so yeah, actually soldiers, and also based on the context it makes more sense. We have seen tomo, which uses the same kanji, last time, I think maybe in this very series for both, or anyway, recently we've seen it. That one was accented before Tomo itself, if I recall correctly, like Futaritomo. Domo, if I recall correctly, but I'm not taking the other physical dictionary to check it. I don't think it's present in this one. I think it might become an accent. Okay, no, let me actually get the physical dictionary. Got the other physical dictionary to confirm it. Rather not say something wrong, but if I recall correctly, it was became an accented, but I've seen it only en passant while checking Tom, of course. Last when we found that. No, okay. Yeah, I was wrong, by the way, for the accent. It seems that it's accent on do of Tomo. It's Temae Domo, Watashi Domo, and so on. But yeah. Technically, originally plural, specific. It's not a coincidence that uses the kanji for shared by Tomo without the voicing for both, but then used also in the singular. But yeah, to make it as a humble suffix here. Then we have the particle ni, to. In this case, let's say simply, we see it then. After that, we have tatakai. From tatakau, I've seen it before. Not studied the kanji of the one usually used in contemporary Japanese. But yeah, tatakau, an accent to fight. Can change verb become verb, we can change the u into it, tatakai. To make the continuative form and so also the corresponding noun, so yeah, fight as in the noun. Then we have the particle no, so yeah, possessive particle. Shitaku. Chinese compound, of course. We'll see its accent. It's actually another word for preparation, arrangement, technically, arrangements. Less common than I want to actually straight up see. This one is mentioned for as a JLPT and 3 word, shitaku. Yo is, I'd say, more common. Yeah, it's also, by the way, JLPT and 4 level, so actually lower because they go in order from 5 the easiest, 1 the most difficult of the JLPT levels. Yeah, Yoi, I can tell you, it's the one usually found anyway. Unaccented, so the most common accent for those. Yeah, preparation arrangements. Object particle O. And then Saseru. Suru, as we mentioned, completely regular, so we can replace it with Saseru, or we could see it as drop the Ru, change the U into A, and then add Seru. It's like that's actually is the origin. Regardless, to make the causative form of the verb. So yeah, make to make the soldiers do the preparations. And yeah, here as we can see, yeah, it's the particle ni used for that. So the ones doing these preparations are the soldiers. And that's why we have the particle ni there. Saseru still an accent like suru. And yeah, then last but not least, we have no da, the usual expression no. Again, we have already said the thing as in fact da the copula. So yeah, it is that, the fact is that, the explanation is that, and so on. So yeah, it says, and then it is that we'll make, we'll let make my soldiers do the preparations, the arrangements of fighting, of battle, we could say. Ah, yeah. Yeah, here we're switching to the attendant here, who says, ha, so omoimashite, junbi wa sudeni dekite orimasu. Yeah, first and foremost, we have that ha at the start as an exclamation. So yeah, like ha in in English. Then we have so. Again, part of the Kosovo series here with the U again. So yeah, way, that way, like that. This one, by the way, we have seen that so usually should be an accent, but when used, unlike its typical usage, when it's used in its typical usage here as an adverb, stays an accent. When used as a noun, it becomes accented. So I know the accent can stay on the longer vowel. But yeah, here so should be an accented. Omoimashite, from omo, to think, to consider, and so on, accented. Verb, going verb, so we can change the U into I to make the continuative form. In this case, to then add the auxiliary verb, so it becomes technically, strictly speaking, a compound verb. And the auxiliary verb mas, which is the auxiliary used to make the polite form of a verb. Here it doesn't stop at that. Usually, in contemporary Japanese, we use it only at the end of the sentence, as we see in a second. Here, though, we conjugate mas, our verb and verb, so we have to follow the rules to make that a form. We change the U into I, like it's the in su, so we change the U into I, continuative form, and then simply attach the 10, no contractions. And so we technically have here the form of mas. Yeah, usually nowadays we don't conjugate. We will simply conjugate the base verb in its form, and then we will tell that it's in the polite speech simply because of the mas at the end. But yeah, here we have princes involved, a kingdom, and so on. Yeah, they use more honorific speech than usual, we could say. Yeah, it can sometimes show up, yeah, no. Usually, as you have seen also in practice so far, you know, we would simply conjugate the verb in that form, not pass by mas. Yeah. The form is typical usage on its own, so yeah, do the action of the verb and the rest of the sentence, or by doing the action of the verb, while doing the action of the verb, and so on. Then we have junbi, yeah, we have the comma, then we have junbi. Another term, another Chinese compound. This one we might have also seen by the way before. Still with the meaning accent on the first mora. This one Jumbi. The N technically becomes M because of the following B. B is a bilabial consonant, so it becomes the nasal becomes the bilabial nasal, which is M. So Jumbi. Again, another term for preparation arrangements. This one another really pretty common one. And yeah, then we have the topic particle wa. After that we have sude ni. I think we have seen it before. It's an adverb, as you can see also by that ni at the end there is because it's an adverb. We've seen it before, that usage of ni. This one accented on the first mora, so sudeni. Already. Other means, but yeah, this is the fundamental one, already. Another one is relatively common, we could say also before, but yeah, no, already is the fundamental one. And then after that we have dekite or rimase from the kiru. The kiru, to be able to do, it's a fundamental meaning. Also used because of that as straight up the replacement for the potential form of suru, to do. To be able to do, this one means instead of conjugating suru for its potential form. In this case, technically, it's by extension, it means to be finished, to be completed, to be done. The kiru is a ruverbic accented, is a ruverbic verb. So we can simply drop the ru, continuative form to then attach the te. The form which is required in this case because then we have the verb orimas. From oru, verb on its own, verb of staying. Like iru, yeah, oru is the, in standard Japanese, the humble form of iru. Oru accented, iru unaccented. To exist of animate things, people and animals on their own. Here, after that, the form of a verb, like teiru, yeah, we have it's oru is used as an auxiliary with the meaning continuing action or state. In this case, actually, state have been completed. So, continuing action, to be doing the action of the verb, to have had, yeah, in our case here, to be completed. What the verb says. Oru, verb and verb, and yeah, so we can change the u into i, continuative form, to then add mass, and yeah, this is the typical usage of mass, to make, because to make the verb polite, and so that usually the whole sentence is in polite speech, even though we found usually only the mass at the end. But yeah, so here is saying, yeah, so yeah, he's saying, I thought so, and we could say also by thinking that way. As for the preparations, they have already been completed. Oh yeah, so we can continue here. Okay, we should be able to check at the very least this. Yeah, here then Richard says Umu. Dekashita zo ji. And then also Shutsujin da. Yeah, first and foremost, here we have Umu, and yeah, you can see that it's not... here straight up, you can see that, yeah, this is Umu, like the one before. Yeah, in this case, let's say as in, more of the yes meaning of Umu. Then we have this Dekashita. Which actually is a verb which means to do, or better we could say technically to commit, to accomplish, even better to achieve. It actually uses technically the same kanji as the kiru. So you can see that it technically is related. The one for the day at the start is the one for to go, come, out, to exit. We didn't study this kanji. Regardless of this, the kasu is the transitive, unsurprisingly. To do, as in accomplish, achieve. Verb and verb, so we can change the U into I, conjunctive form, to then attach the ta, make the ta form past form of the verb in plain speech. Zo as the final sentence particle. Made to a more language adds force, or indicates command. Yeah, no, in this case force, let's say even just simply emphasis. G again. So yeah, here is saying, yeah. You did, I'd say in English simply, you did well, old man. And then we have this Shutsujin. Shutsujin is a Chinese compound. Check its accent. The Shutsu, funny enough, is again the kanji for Dairu. Here in its Chinese reading, of course, we have already studied that. Shutsujin, an accent, yeah, like usually Chinese compounds are. Shutsu, as mentioned, here would be to put out, more than that. The following jin is battle formation, technically, camp, and so on. So yeah, considering that the meaning of this Shutsujin is going into battle, departure for battle. And yeah, and then last but not least, the copula, because yeah, it's a noun on its own. So yeah, it's we could say in English it's well, it's time to go to battle. Yeah, we have to adapt it in English. Yeah, they straight up leave. Okay, we also have we finish here with this as well. This. I'll take the screenshot. I don't think we have studied that, so yeah, we have an additional kanji because of that. But yeah, tiramisu hime to kiite wa watashi mo damate wa orenu. Yeah, so last but not least, Prince Richard and the old man left, the old attendant, let's say, left. So our protagonist here starts saying, we check only this one, then we'll end after this. Also before we potentially find even more kanji, but yeah. We have first and foremost Tiramisu Hime again, so Princess Tiramisu. Then we have the to, the with, here as the quoting particle, because of the following verb, as we see. Verb, which is kite, from kiku to hear. And in this case, straight up, simply to hear. Verb go and verb, so to make the te form, we have to follow the rules, it's in cool, so it becomes ite. Again, origin, we change simply the u into i. Kiki, to make the continuative form, and then add the te. But then the k fell, so only the i remains kite. After the te, we find wa, the topic particle, so literally as for doing the action of the verb in te. As we mentioned, then in English we could translate it as an if, as in if that's the case. We'll then see in translation. The new kanji, I don't think we have studied it yet, is the one for watashi. Could be also in its reading watashi, and honestly could apply here technically. Watashi is the most formal one and the original form. Technically, watashi is a slightly contracted one, slightly formal, and the most common one nowadays in Japanese, both unaccented. The first person singular pronoun, the standard one for contemporary Japanese, I. Mo, the inclusive particle, also even. Then we have damatte, from damaru. I think we have seen it maybe in this game or the other one, actually, if I read relatively recently. Damaru means to be silent, to stay silent, in our case here better, to say nothing, accented, verb and verb, so to make the te form we have to follow the rules, it's in rules, so it becomes double consonant te. Again, we change the u into i, to mari, and to attach the te. But then the i fell, in this case, the marte, difficult to pronounce, so it became simply the dubbing of the following consonant, damatte. Again, we have the wa after the te form here, but in this case, the wa, the topic particle, in its usage when we have a following negative verb, as we'll see in a second. We have a verb which is orenu, actually from oru once more. So despite this y in the middle, it's the te oru form we have already seen containing action or state in a humble speech. Oru, u verb, go and verb, so we can change the u into e, and then add ru. Here ru can be seen because of the further conjugation, to make the potential form. We add the meaning can. Potential forms are ru verbs, is some verbs, so we can then drop the ru. In this case, to make the realis not the state form, negative base, we could simply say in contemporary Japanese. Because we then add something to make the verb negative. In this case, unlike the usual nai, we usually add nai, we add this nu, but it's another form, another negative auxiliary verb, we could say. This this one technically from classical Japanese. But yeah, simply remember that yeah, when you find you can find this nu while more in usually not typically can be found in games and so on, especially when we are speaking here with all this language. We've even found that form se, which isn't typical before, so yeah, it shows up from time to time. Even more, we have seen that related to this one even more, actually more even in practice in contemporary Japanese, a contraction simply. But yeah. So I hear what he's saying, yeah. We have to adapt it in English. Well, we could say it as if I hear Princess Tiramisu, as in I heard about Princess Tiramisu, even I can't stay silent. So yeah, he's saying this, of course, because he wants to. So yeah, he wants to act as well, and yeah, so we're actually getting here closer to the end of this intro and the start of the game. But yeah, now we have a good, we are getting a better idea of what's going on. And yeah, with that we can actually save the state. And so end it here. It's the game. And yes, so today we continued Kaeru no Tameni Kane wa Naru, the frog for whom the bell tolls. We studied several kanji at the start. And then we continued this intro, and yeah, now Richard and the old attendant left, so our protagonist is the only one that remained. And yeah, most certainly then we are getting close to the end of this part. And so we should finally start properly playing the game, potentially next time. This time which will be, unless plans change, next Wednesday. At the start, again, we'll have more kanji to study. One we forgot to study today, so we'll do so tomorrow. Then next time, yeah, after studying the kanji, we'll continue the game. In the middle, of course, as usual, we'll have a stream, unless plans change, of course, a stream on Friday, Pokemon Fire Red, Pokemon Fire Red also on Monday. On Sunday, again, mostly just for fun, we'll see which one when we get closer to it. Maybe not more Tomodachi Life. I have an idea of something, but yeah, we'll see when we get closer to it. And yeah, see you next time.